And this is a major turning point for the United States. Nonetheless, we stand ready to negotiate with the United States. Indeed, we have offered 0 for 0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, because Europe is always ready for a good deal, so we keep it on the table. But we are also prepared to respond through countermeasures and defend our interests. And in addition, we will also protect ourselves against indirect effects through trade diversion.
Sounds like Europe is already buckling. Trump was right when he basically said that they had gotten calls, and basically they were fielding calls from over 50 countries that basically are saying, yo, we got to figure out something, we got to negotiate. But my question then becomes, how come you guys weren't trying to figure out something to negotiate prior to Trump implementing tariffs? How come this wasn't a one-for-one a long time ago? And the true cost of tariffs, and a lot of people really don't understand it, and it's not even tariffs itself, but the true cost of doing business with another country has nothing to do with whether or not they're tariffing us. It has everything to do with the business proposition. And I'll give you an example, and I like to use this example on a Millionaire Morning Show on a regular basis because a lot of people don't understand the cultures of other countries. For decades, and if you are a part of the Millionaire Morning Show, make sure you subscribe to this channel also. For decades, China has proposed and forced American companies, since I was a little kid, to partner with their companies in order to do business, in which they then gave over all of their insight, information, research and development, and proprietary technology so that they can then sell to Chinese consumers, which they then still never really became profitable, and it never benefited us. And so what happened was they forced them to go 50-50. You were not able, as an automotive company, for example, able to set up shop over in China and then go 50. You had to go 50-50 in order to sell to their consumers. And then that is the thing that gave rise to the auto industry, because they learned from us how to build cars, because they then became partners with us, and then they didn't need us and discarded us, and we never was really profitable over there. Tesla is the first company that has been able to build their own vehicles over there. And why do you think that is? Because they already had the know-how and they were able to compete against it on a global scale. And so when you think about that, right, it's not just whether or not your cars or your products or any of those things came in, it's that they largely throttled and restricted American companies. And if you did do business, it had to benefit them first. So it wasn't just a tariff. When the EU is now buckling and saying it's a one-for-one, the question that we have to ask ourselves is this beneficial to American consumers? Because when you go into these other countries, I just got back from central Mexico. Last year, I was over in Amsterdam, and then I went over to Bucharest, and then the year before that, I was over in Japan, or was that last year? I was in Tokyo. And when you look on the streets, you don't really see American vehicles, because they are incentivizing people to champion their own vehicles, whereas we incentivize, or we've had a cultural shift to where we champion places outside the United States of America above America first, right? So when Trump is basically saying, yo, we want to put reciprocal tariffs, or we really calculating the cost of doing business with these other countries, they are taking everything into consideration, not just what they were already tariffing us. And now they want to say, we want to have these good faith negotiations, and we want to reduce the tariffs and do a 0 for 0, because it still benefits them, because they export more over into the United States of America than we export over to other countries like Europe. And so they're proposing, now they want to reach out, and these are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Once you get past all of the motion and all of the I feel certain type of way, and get past all of the people that's against America and against Trump, when we start to get down into the thick of things, now we can see exactly what their intentions are and how we've been being taken advantage of for years in the first place. And I think that Trump should keep standing on business until they come with the best offer. And you never fold based off of social pressure, because that is what emotional people do. That is not what Trump does. That is not what people that understand business. We need somebody to actually get this together for a long time, and the Democrats are going to be in shambles. They'll never win another election once we get done making sure that America is great again. On the flip side, Trump is now threatening to raise tariffs on China another 50%. Now, some people are going to say, well, how does this help us? How does this benefit us? The reason is because China exponentially, some have put estimates above $1 trillion a year, and the imbalance between the United States of China as far as the exports versus imports into our country. Check it out.
Now, one theme that we're seeing emerge when it comes to the potential tariff negotiations is that it appears President Trump wants to do them in person. He confirmed earlier today that he had spoken to the Japan Prime Minister and that a team of negotiators would be coming to Washington to further their discussion.
All roads lead into Washington. Everybody is taking a trip here. Everybody, right now, everybody is getting their travel plans together, and they are flying to the United States of America to meet with Trump in person. Ain't no Zoom calls, ain't no phone calls, ain't none of that. Everybody is getting their teams together, and they coming to the king. They coming into the United States of America because we are the biggest consumers. We hold all the cards. That's what these weak people don't understand. That's what these liberals and these Democrats don't understand. We hold all the cards to the keys of the world. We determine what the markets happen. You think that the United States of America, which is a buying opportunity, take advantage of it. We're going to get there. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. You think that the world markets are not in turmoil and that these people are not being affected and they are looking to come to the table immediately? That is exactly what is going on right now.
Now, of course, as you've been discussing, the biggest story today appears to be President Trump threatening this additional 50% tariff when it comes to China. Critical here, our understanding, according to his Truth Social post, is that this levy would be enacted on top of existing levies, the 20% tariff that's already in place against Beijing, and then, of course, that 34% tariff that we are expecting to go into place on April 9th.
Well, in addition, with reciprocal tariffs on all other partners, Tyler, the president also talked about other ongoing conversations with different countries that he is having. Is there any indication from the White House that deals are forthcoming before the Wednesday deadline?
At this point, the White House is holding pretty firm, right? Senior administration officials had confirmed yesterday that more than 50 countries reached out to the U.S. to negotiate. The question being, what will it take for President Trump to get to the negotiating table? He's previously said that he needs to see something phenomenal, right? And what phenomenal means remains to be seen, although yesterday he did give some indication to reporters that they're really focusing in on trade deficits. That could be very difficult for some countries, particularly ones that we rely on for low-cost goods, to end up meeting in order to get some sort of deal done. But Joe and Kaylee, this White House really dismissing investors' fears. I want you to take a listen here to what President Trump told reporters yesterday on Air Force One, saying to hold tight, this is all about long-term gain.
What's going to happen with the market, I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger. And eventually, it'll be a country like no other. It'll be the most dominant country economically in the world.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent yesterday dismissed recession fears, said he's not pricing in one, even as big banks revised their forecasts when it comes to it. And we're starting to hear those Wall Street executives push back, including J.P. Morgan Chase's Jamie Dimon in his annual shareholder note, blasting the policy and saying he hopes to see a quick resolution. Remains to be seen exactly what that will be. But for now, this White House is holding.
Stand on business. We standing on business. I don't care what they say. I believe that we've been taken advantage of as a country for too long, and that we need to stay standing on business, and we don't need to give in to mob rules. We don't care about these liberals. We don't care about people that don't understand it from a business perspective. We don't care about none of that. If you don't want tariffs, then go ahead and buy American and make sure you adjust your business, but we're not going to let people take advantage of us going forward. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, make sure you get that Teach Hanley 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.